this thing. It's point and shoot, just kind of definition. I have kind of a floaty spin putt, so it's perfect. Holds that line I put it on and fades right at the end. It definitely helped my game a lot. But yeah, I'm really loving the Pro D Roach. Probably my next favorite throwing putter would be the Paul Macbeth Luna. I really got into the Luna. I watched Paul, he's my favorite player, and I saw him putt with it. And I was hoping maybe it'd be something I could use, but didn't really enjoy the putt of it. But once I started throwing this thing, madly fell in love. It's gotten pretty beat up. If you look around, this plastic is very not durable. I don't know a really better term. It's just, it gets scratched like crazy. So I was kind of worried about it, but it really has held its integrity, if not gotten that perfect stability where it'll fly dead straight. I can flip it up, I can turn it over, maybe get it to come back. I can do everything with this. Throw this thing in tight wooded courses like what we have here in Washington, and it always usually puts me in a great spot. So nothing but good things to say about the Luna. The next putter I throw would be the Banger GT. I got this thing just to kind of see. I saw some hype, Paige Pierce, she's been throwing it with some accuracy, so I thought I'd get it, give it a chance, and so far I really like it. It's kind of how the Luna came out of the box, where it was fly pretty dang straight and fade at the end a little bit, and that's what it's been doing. I haven't really beat it up too much, so maybe it'll get even straighter the longer, which I don't really know if I need, but right now I'm still throwing it just for that straight with a little bit of extra fade that the Luna kind of lost. So far loving it. The thumb grip, the groove top, as they say it in Discraft, the Banger GT, it's really nice. Fits my hand perfect for the fan grip, or if I need the power grip, it'll still hold right there. There's nothing else you could really want with that straight strong finish. And the last disc is my actually probably my first putter I ever had. It's an AVR, and this thing, it was in a starter pack, so I'm pretty sure it's super light and just super beat up. I did kind of messed around with some custom stamping on it, and it didn't come out super great, but it was this stamp was almost gone. I didn't really like just the blank. I know a lot of people like the blank putters, but yeah, I keep this one in case I'm outside the circle and I really have like an awkward, I gotta put a lot of like Anheuser or something. This thing really just like glides for days and holds that line. My Roach kind of falls. I just haven't had that power consistency with it. So this one really holds whatever line and power I keep in it. Just glides for days, goes in the basket whenever I'm outside the circle. And that sums up my putters. We'll go to approach discs now, which I guess it's a putter, but I throw the zone. Absolutely love this disc. Bought it, didn't realize how overstable it was. Really new to the game, just didn't understand it. Kind of watched more footage, kind of figured out that like you want this disc. And once I figured out how to throw this thing, it changed my approach game drastically. That was always my worst part. That was the thing I was always practicing on. Couldn't get consistency. But once I switched to this, I developed a flick. I used to not be able to throw any forehand touch shots or anything, and it really like added that to my game. It helped with backhand, consistently just going left. I don't have to worry about it maybe flipping over or maybe not going exactly how much left. Like I can predict what this disc is going to do. Love it. It's in ESP plastic. I know a lot of people throw the like Z zones, which I'm kind of curious to try, but I got the ESP just because I love the feel of ESP plastic. I'd recommend this disc to anyone. It is really cool. So yeah, the Discraft ESP Zone. And the next one I have is my Tournament Burst Harp, which I actually got from a friend. Still kind of was just testing it to see how it compared to the Zone, and it really flies very similar. Just not really the same feel, plastic, and like the same just comfortability I have with the Zone throwing it. I don't really know this as well. I haven't thrown it as long, but I just kind of put it in just in case my brown Zone ever did get lost or something. I kind of have something I can use. Maybe if I'm throwing something, it's something I'm kind of more risking losing it. I'll throw this probably just because I don't really care about this one as much. I'm more okay losing it, or I really would be hurt if I lost my Zone. But also, if I did lose my Zone, I still have something I can trust on that really overstable, consistent flight. So now we move on to mid-ranges. I'll start with my most understable, which would be the Discraft Meteor. I did a custom 4-leaf clover stamp because this thing did kind of bring me a lot of luck for a while. I I think my Luna kind of took its place. But before I had the Luna, this thing was my money disc. I could throw this thing flat, and it got a little nose up, so this thing would just glide straight and just sit. It wouldn't fade, wouldn't go right. It would just go dead straight. I could put it on a little angle, get some turn on it, and it will hold. With still, if I put it high enough, if I get enough air under it, I can get it kind of come back a little bit, or if I kind of keep it a little lower, it'll kind of just hold that slow turn. Doesn't ever really just dump. I found like maybe it's just my throwing mechanics, but the Z meteor that I have, at least, I just really can't get it to flip up. I put on that angle and it just kind of wants to hold it. I don't know if I'm just not getting the snap whenever I throw it. It's a little domey, so maybe it's just kind of the grip isn't really getting the like spin on it, but still it is kind of nice being able to have that like turnover understable. Maybe even if I have to put it like a really soft and not worry about it dumping too hard left, kind of put it on that little angle. But I think this is a great disc for anyone that's new to the game that needs something pretty dang straight, maybe a little understable they can use. If they don't really like throwing putters, this is definitely a good thing. I know some people are kind of scared to throw putters just because the distance they're losing, so I would say get a Discraft Meteor. Next mid-range I have would be the good old Buzz. Well, this is just a little dirty, I guess the round we played kind of got in it, but love this thing. This was the first disc I bought, Discraft, kind of when I switched from the like Innova starter set with like a couple other discs I had. I bought this thing and absolutely loved this thing. It was money out of my hand from the beginning. A little like really overstable, not really overstable, but definitely stable when I first got it. But as I kind of beat it up in the ESP plastic, which it still holds pretty true, it definitely will fly really straight with a little fade at the end, not a lot, just a little. I can throw it on slight angle. It'll hold that hyzer. It won't flip up. It'll just kind of hold whatever angle I put on. I can put it on anhyzer. It'll kind of go fight out of it and end pretty dang straight. So this thing is just a workhorse. I think anyone throwing Discraft or is looking for a really good mid-range needs to try out the Buzz. New to my bag, we have the Buzz OS from Discraft, which is just the overstable Buzz. And haven't thrown it too much, pretty dang new for me, but I knew I needed this right in my bag because as my Buzz slowly was getting more and more beat in, it was flying straighter and straighter, and I was losing that long straight shot with an overstable mid-range that'll like dump over like my Buzz would. So I went and got the Buzz OS, and it feels great. Feels just like I'm throwing a Buzz. That comfortable feeling in the hand every time you grab it, and it's just I'm really excited to see what this thing will do to my game. See how much it'll help and increase my my consistency off the tee. And last but not least, we have the good old Vector from MVP. You know, I was really surprised. I kind of went on a limb and just kind of bought this, hoping to see kind of what it is, trying to see how the MVP's plastic played out, see how nice it was, see how much I liked it, and I honestly love this disc. It's kind of the in-between of my Buzz and my Buzz OS, where I can get this thing to kind of flip up a little bit, kind of get it flying dead straight, but I know it'll have that consistent fade, whereas the Buzz OS will kind of go straight for a little bit and then start fading earlier. This one I can kind of get it to ride a little straight, maybe a little right if I put enough turn on it, but I know it's going to come out with that slow, nice late fade, and just the feel of the plastic just feels really nice on this one. So this was a really nice, just kind of like on the whim, getting, and just ended up falling in love. Got the misprint, which I think looks super cool. Chem major, so I think it kind of fits my lifestyle and game pretty well. And that's my last mid-range. Jumping up to, I guess we'll go fairway drivers. First one I got is an Opto River. I actually found this disc, and I worked really hard to try to find its owner. Didn't really get any luck with it, so I ended up just being like, well, I guess I'll give it a shot. Really fell in love. This is the disc that I've been kind of trying to find if there's any others that I can find similar, because I love it so much, but it's just, I don't know if I'm just worried if I buy another one, it won't be the exact same. So I've been kind of just keeping it in my bag and just seeing if I can maybe find something else that flies similar. But so far, you know, this is a one of a kind. I'm thinking I might have to break down and just get a Opto River again to kind of replace it as it gets beat up, because this thing is money. This thing will glide for days if you throw it well. You can get it to flip up, you can get it to hold that angle. It's kind of like the Meteor for me, but just a little further flying, just with that sharper edge, thinner rim and stuff. It definitely helped build my game as I got this when I was kind of getting back into disc golf, kind of starting to figure out all the mechanics and everything, and this thing really elevated that and just put me in a really good place, really made me enjoy throwing it, and I've just been happy with it ever since. Probably don't throw it as much as I should, but next thing, which I would have to say right now is probably my favorite fairway driver mold. I haven't really thrown too many because I am still a college student. Trying to buy discs is kind of expensive, but would be my Discraft Undertaker. I actually have 3 of them. As you can see, I'll get to these other 2. This one's my ESP, which is my most understable. It's gotten pretty dinged up like lately, and it's been a workhorse for a while. But I love this thing. I can throw it straight. I put get enough torque on it, maybe like 85, 90%. I can get it to kind of ride right, flip left. If I go really hard power, hyzer flip up, I'll get it to flat. It'll just glide straight and just dump left. I guess dump isn't really the word. It'll more just kind of fade out left. But yeah, this thing has been my workhorse driver for quite a while now. I really like the ESP plastic, and that helps. Kind of had a little custom stamp on it. Just kind of background stamp, try not to overpower it. And yeah, no, I would say anyone looking for a really straight fairway driver, especially with like kind of slower arm speed, it'll be maybe a little stable, but you can definitely get it beat in. And even if you have higher arm speeds, like I know Paul throws these, I know Brody Smith throws these, so like you definitely can use this disc if you give it a chance. The next one I have, this is the first one I ever bought, was my titanium Undertaker, which this thing, when I first got it, was really stable for my arm speed, but as I kind of worked in it, kind of beat it in and kind of got used to it, and my arm speed started getting faster. This thing is that dead straight shot. No matter kind of what angle, it'll pretty much just fly dead straight. It'll kind of come out of a turnover, a hyzer, maybe it'll get up flat, but it'll go straight on that straight line. Right at the end, it'll just fade out, which is really nice to have if you really need something just to punch through a straight gap or anything. And if you kind of power down, you can kind of trust that it's going to have that little overstable flight. Definitely a staple in my bag, something that I've had for a long time, and I'll plan to keep having it. Hoping it just doesn't change and hoping it stays the same. My newest Undertaker that I just got would be the Z Flex. Haven't thrown it too much, still kind of getting used to how the flight. So far it's kind of on that maybe close to that titanium. I think it's a little more overstable right now. It is pretty much brand new with a couple field throws, but I knew it'd go right in my bag because I definitely want another one, and I know this is going to end up having some different slight flight. That really flexible plastic, so if it's hitting any trees, which there's a lot of them in most of the courses I play, it should absorb it a little better, which I think it'll keep the integrity a lot longer, so I can trust that this one should hold that kind of more overstable if I really need that, maybe more wind, or if I'm just kind of worried my titanium's getting a little more understable, or if it's not going to fade out early enough, I can throw this one. So I'm just really excited to see how this one can increase my variety of shots with my bags and not having to really change my angles as much. The last fairway mold I have, or what I'd consider fairway mold, is my brand new Stalker. I got this thing kind of as an overstable, but thought I could maybe get it flat. But so far, this thing is a pretty beefy, pretty overstable. Not really. I'd say it's pretty stable. I can get it to fly pretty straight with a little fade. Kind of flying similar to my Undertaker, which I didn't know for sure if it would, but it's a little slower speed, so I might be able to kind of control it a little more. Maybe if I'm kind of not feeling great that day or just worried about keeping something on the fairway, I might just down to this just to get a little slower speed, but still that same overstable finish as I can get with some of my Undertakers. But so far I'm liking it. I'll have to definitely see how it pans out in the end. And then now we'll be going to my, what I would say distance drivers. Some people might different, but I have a super beat up King. This is definitely my roller discs. Not a big roller fan. I just don't really ever throw them. A lot of the courses are so wooded you can't really throw a roller very well. But I still got this from a buddy a long time ago. This is my first distance driver I used. Started out really overstable, and then I started being able to throw well, and this thing just flipped up and would just dump right. So I decided that it kind of just sit in my bag as my roller if I ever need anything. Probably gets a pretty good distance. This thing, really wide rim, gets down really quick and and slowly kind of rides up on that roller line. Like I said, I don't throw. I'm not very good at it, so it's just kind of there if I need it. My next understable would be my Crank SS. I have my custom diamond stamp, which is probably one of my favorites on it, especially when you watch it fly. It has a good spin, but this thing goes far. You can put this thing on quite a bit of angle and really rip on it, and it's going to flip up. It's going to glide to the right, and it's going to come back. This is definitely my max distance if I want to go just get it out there. A couple of the open holes that I do play on, this thing comes out of my bag and I'm pumping this thing as far as I can. It's done a lot. It's definitely my workhorse max distance driver, no wind or some tailwind, just get the understability. And yeah, I've been loving this disc. I'm gonna start getting a little more into probably the maximum distance drivers just because I'm starting to maybe get up to that arm speed, and I know I don't need a lot of them in my bag just because I play so many wooded courses, and I love the fairway driver feel, but still got to have a couple of them just in case we get out in that more open fields. My we got, which some people I guess would consider, but I just consider this a distance driver, not really a fairway. It's kind of that 10 speed, but it's the Onyx, Paul Macbeth. You know, this was definitely one of those fanboy pickups. Didn't realize how overstable it's going to be. This thing has glide for days, and if I can really get a turn on it, it'll really hold it out and slowly pan with the full flight. Definitely can't get as far as I can with my crank, but I think this is probably my second farthest throwing discs if I get it on a good turnover line. And it's really nice to have in the wind, because there are days when the open holes I do play on get some pretty heavy winds, and I can throw this thing on a little more flat, a little high, not as much angle, a little above flat, and I know it'll fly that same flight and get me out there, get me left. If I really need something super overstable that I want a driver to punch through some stuff, I can whip this out, and I know it's gonna do me wonders. I haven't thrown it. I don't throw it too much. I wonder if I could maybe get it beat in, maybe a little more usable. But like I said, I just don't pull out distance drivers very often, so this thing kind of just there for when I need it. Get out, and just get a couple birdies. My last disc, which is my feel the temp at kind of doing like a custom stamp. There's maybe a story video coming out. This would be one of my mystery discs, and it was a West Side Disc World. This thing is just beefy as can be. This thing is massive, overstable. Got it as a mystery disc, and definitely would not have bought this without, because I do not need it. So got that left side is heavier stamp. Like I said, maybe if you guys want, maybe I can go with the story of how that came to be and how I'm planning to maybe try to get a cool stamp idea that I can maybe toss on a couple discs and kind of get my brand out there. But yeah, this thing is just super overstable. I just kind of have it for that exact reason. If it ever just dumping wind, or I just for some reason feel like I need this, I just have it. It's kind of just a filler for now too. I'm kind of trying to find something that I can replace it with, but it's still nice to have something really overstable in case you're playing in crappy winds. And I'm not feeling like the Onyx is gonna hold up strong enough. I can throw this thing and still get a good flight. Yeah, that's all my discs. I got the Latitude 64 core bag, as you can see. Really nice. Got the 2 side pockets that fit my water bottle, keys, wallet, phone, anything else I need. You can fit like 21 discs, I think, down in the bottom. I fit 3 up top. It's a little tight in the putter pocket, but there's also a pocket right here you could fill if you really needed to. Just an all-around really nice backpack that is pretty cheap, honestly. It's for what you're getting with it, it's really worth it in my opinion. So I think if you're looking for a backpack that can hold a good amount of discs, I definitely would check out the core. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my in the bag. I hope maybe I can help a couple of you newbies joining me in this disc golf quest.